Om. Om. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om. Well, that was fun. Hi, welcome to. Where are we? Okay, Psychic Frank's Mystery School. Oh, most people who watch this show pretty regularly, thank you. Thank you so much. The sidewalk in front of my house, I live in San Francisco, behind City Hall, a few blocks away here. And I love how all over the city, I guess a lot of people are putting artwork on the sidewalk. You know, all kinds of beautiful artwork. And there's been this pulse, where the massacre was on my LGBT brothers and sisters. So every time I'm walking into my building, and it's like two spaces away from the gate, I see it, and the sadness doesn't go away, but we're going to talk about how instead of trying to push the sadness away, how it's going to be able to it's going to be good. It's a good show today. Oh yeah, because we've got the reign of terror is coming to a grinding halt. Donald Trump is such a lame old white man, old white dude without a lick of street sense. Even like drug dealers or real like murderers, real bad people at least have the street smarts to not do what he's doing. He's like making enemies with the people that are going to it's just amazing. It's astonishing at the depth of his ignorance. And at the same time, it's appalling because I have to remind myself every time I see that pulse spray thing in my building about, we're all brothers and sisters, but we all like our own kind, I think Rabindranath Tagore said there's a happiness in things liking together. That's what I miss about San Francisco. I didn't have to go to Mexico. I just go to the Mission and have lunch. Or Chinatown, or save a lot of shoe leather, But little by little, we're homogenizing. It started with Gavin Newsom's, but San Francisco, I have some. Before we get into all this, we're just 2 minutes into it, so there's plenty of time. It's a rare book I've had for 30, 40 years called Love Numbers. The jacket's gone, MIA, but it's Sandra Kovacs Stein. Stein, and Carol Ann Schuler, Schuler, and because I want to empower people. This is the mystery school, so get some instant information. It'll help you in your personal life, in every aspect of your life, and it'll help the society we live in because we'll put better people into office for the better job. It says the first vowel of the person's name or nickname tells something about his or her emotional reactions and how he or she best can be reached through the emotions. So if you want to get through to somebody, ask them how they spell their name, and they get that first vowel, A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y. A. Okay, so that's, let's use politics here in San Francisco. Mark Leno, Jane Kim, first vowel A. Psychic Frank, first vowel A. I'm being non-objective here. A is creative, independent, and tends to accept advice only if it coincides with what he or she already believes. When operating negatively, he can be or she can be domineering, opinionated, and critical. Well, see, if they're in the right, if they're liberal, if they realize their heart's in the right place and they're believe very strongly, I believe Leno and Jane Kim both, in their heart of hearts, do understand you know, that we're not anti-tech, but the tech industry the war on poverty has become a war on the poor, since we've gotten all these mayors and one after another who are totally into lying to the public and saying they're for the people, and they're going to get rid of the homeless. Well, let's hope that this new mayor coming in, we'll get a new mayor in the spring, so we're only stuck with this one for a couple of months. Okay, it is creative, independent. A can be appealed through the mind, through the original ideas. You know, at least they'll sit in the same room with us at these meetings and not walk out. I think it's hard for a lot of these people in power at City Hall to sit in the same room when the cannabis people come up. We're always last, and they're always not, when we look up, all the big names are gone. Yeah, I guess if you get to know us, it's harder to throw us under the bus. Harm reduction, harm reduction, harm reduction. Okay, access of love, support us. No beating around the bush. If you want to reach A, come to the straight point. Yeah, don't let me hear it on the street. Okay, E, it's all about the senses. Appeal to their senses. A is restless, resourceful, outgoing. When operating negatively, he or she can be unreliable and overindulgent. E can be reached through the senses. If it feels good, looks good, tastes good, E's all for it. Anything new or different holds appeal. Yeah, E's are fun. So if you got an appointment with somebody for an important job and their first name has got an E in it, bring them something like something good to eat, or flowers, something to get to their senses. Well, everybody's got something, you know, appeal, but some more than others, you know. It's just a balancing that. I heard somebody out there say, well, everybody's like flowers. Yeah, see, I know everything. I is emotional, romantic, impractical. When operating negatively, he or she can be high-strung, oversensitive, and have a tendency to brood. I can be reached through the emotions. You have to have a channel for these things. You gotta have a channel for these things. O is willful, self-contained, responsible, and his or her first concern is for loved ones. When operating negatively, however, he or she can be opinionated, meddlesome, and full of unwanted advice. O likes the traditional, tried and true, very strong-willed people. Donald Trump, Ron. Notice how he closes himself off. He always like closes off his heart chakra. I don't want to lose my page here. He like closes his arms like a little boy. The other day, I was watching MSNBC, and he was live, you know, live bulletin, and he was giving some kind of he was sitting behind some kind of a desk, and he was saying to Iran or something, you best, see, I have closed captioning because I'm a word freak, and I always increase my vocabulary every time I watch old movies or anything on TV, because I like to write down. I'm always looking for new words. So I thought I had heard wrong, because that's something you hear, like when I haven't heard someone say that since I was a little kid, and I would cut through the bully's backyard. Because you best not cross my lawn anymore if you know what's good for you, you know, but that was in like 63. So I said, I must have heard wrong. It's probably you best, B-E-S-S. But no, I prayed, I pressed the button to go back, and I listened to it again, and then I heard it several other times on CNN that, yeah, he says, he's like a little boy. It's almost comical, except you understand all this heartache and nightmare he's brought upon, the grief and sorrow. Some people are like, hundreds of kids will never see, they'll be forever, who knows. It's so sad, I don't want to bum everybody out today, but get involved. Let's get involved here. Okay, O's are very strong-willed. You know, a lot of people would call them stubborn, you know, if it's not used properly. Nothing doesn't have a shadow. You know, nothing doesn't have a shadow. U's are really motherly. U's are social, expressive, emotionally intuitive, enjoy children. When operating negatively, however, can be selfish, moody, untruthful. You know, melancholy was the way it was for a long, long time. I think it's from before the Romans. and the Greeks, right through until Carl Jung. No, Jung not so much. Freud. That's why Jung and Freud had that fork in the road. Freud, in the movie, the guy who shot himself, the Wall of Sound guy. In that movie, it'll come back to me later. He says to his lawyers, there was no mental disease until Carl Jung. Sigmund Freud invented mental disease. Well, in a way he did, Melancholy, I made some notes on it. I'm not talking, most people who mention melancholy, it's that old song, Come to Me, My Melancholy Baby. But melancholy, and they would feelings of sadness. A lot of Victorian women would go away, for the summer somewhere to cure their melancholy. Extra sleep, hire extra help. Poor people didn't have time for melancholy, only being fluent. Oh, I'm laughing again. It's a neurotic laugh whenever I see things that are really from the past that are pretty nasty. So getting back to my fear, a lot of people say the way you dump on Trump and political people, aren't you afraid? And I thought about that for a split second, and then of course the next day it came back to me, and I said, that's the gift of an '82 when I had that out of body experience, and I really didn't want to come back. Oh my goodness! If you knew what was in store for you, trust me, stay here, and when it's time to go, be happy. So I know where I'm going when it's through, and and I don't feel that I'm in any danger. I'm in more danger, I believe. I think from if the government found out, I can do a lot of things. I think they, in my mind, when I have those cynical periods of melancholy, I picture them taking me to this hollowed out cave and forcing me to tell them where nuclear weapons and stuff are, to do all this military, where to bomb. I couldn't, or kill kittens if you don't do this. So I know that's never going to happen. But that's my dark place that I never go to. A social expressive you, praise, recognition, and flattery are always ways to use heart. Y is a good worker and teacher, perceptive, reflective, psychic. Yeah, psychic. I believe we're all psychic now. This is an old book. But he or she is always at the crossroads in life and has a tendency to vacillate. When operating negatively, Dylan, Bob Dylan there. Bob, strong will, last name. Your initials pack their punch, and then we could go through the consonants, but there's a lot of them. A through Z there, but we'll get through a few of them every day. I'll bring that book with me. It's not too heavy. Okay, back to astrology now. Whenever overview for August and September, and this is the Mountain Astrologer on sale right this minute. It comes out every 6 months. You get two. Every 2 months you get one. And it says, we are firm, this is Pam Youngham's, we are fully immersed in eclipse season as August dawns. 2 July eclipses are in the rearview mirror, taught us how to nurture ourselves, and the rare third eclipse lies directly ahead, and that's going to be on the 11th of Saturday the 11th, and that's the Leo, self-confidence building. With the atmosphere already, 2 eclipses in the rearview mirror and a rare third eclipse lies directly ahead. With the atmosphere already highly electrified by the provocative July 27th total lunar eclipse in Aquarius, with Mars too, and it was all Aquarius is the South Node stuff. It was all about going to the heart. Acting from the heart. The square on August 1st, yesterday, between Mars retrograde and Uranus, okay. Half of the 10 primary planets are moving backwards at the beginning of August, starting yesterday. Excuse me. Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto, with Chiron also moving backward and Uranus stationed retrograde on August 7th. Excuse me. This overwhelming emphasis on retrograde planets means that we are in a very subjective phase of our development, in spite of Leo's sun penchant for over-demonstration. Even as events propel us into new realities, we are directed to take stock of where we've been and to consider how our past actions have created our current circumstances. In addition to Uranus and 4 other planets also make their stations on August and September. Mercury having gone retrograde. Now everybody wants to know about Mercury, the planet of communication, going retrograde. It went retrograde on July 25th. And that was, where's my calendar? It's right here, excuse me. That was 23 degrees Leo. And direct on August 18th. And here in California, Saturday the 18th at 9:25 p.m. And that will be, Mercury goes dry, 11:32, and then reaches its shadow period of 23 Leo on September 2nd, 1st and 2nd. So the shadow period, so the period from 13 to 23 on your chart, look for the Leo sign. And it's all about the heart. We'll talk more about that. Liberating those who have been cautiously avoiding signing contracts or starting new enterprises for the previous 24 days. We're talking on August 18th. Mars began its backward phase on June 26th while in Aquarius and dips back into Capricorn on August 12th and goes, so it goes like from 0 Aquarius to 29 Capricorn, 29 Capricorn, and then goes direct 28 Capricorn on the 28th of August. So you want to look for those, that's the period there, actually from 2 Aquarius, 2 Aquarius to, late Cardinal, all the Cardinal signs, I have them written down. That's Aries, Libra, Cancer. Look for the late numbers. Zips back into Capricorn and goes direct in that sign August 27th. Saturn completes its nearly 5-month retrograde period in Capricorn. All this Capricorn, earthy energy. See, the sea goat is the head of the goat and the fish body, represent consciousness and the subconscious. Oh yeah, we're going to definitely talk about the subconscious today. While all these planets are retrograde, we're going to do all this work on on dealing with our shadow. Of course, as Carl Jung said, unless we make peace with our subconscious, our shadow, we'll spend the rest of our life blaming fate. And we don't want to do that, do we? Okay, 1 second here. Dream as if you'll live forever, or live as if you'll die today. I like that. Peace Pilgrim. I remember studying Peace Pilgrim in the mystery school. I'm so glad Nora Tringali turned me on to her. Look her up on YouTube. I'm sure there's a lot. Read her things. If you realize how she was this woman who went cross country, and this was in a time back in I think the 50s or the 60s there. If you realized how powerful your thoughts are, you would never think a negative thought. Wow, I like that. That's good stuff right there. What we see are God's gift to, what we are is God's gift to us. What we become is our gift to God. I guess we're not going to talk about anything there. Einstein said two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. I love that. Two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. Yeah, those who make peaceful revolution possible, and JFK said, those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. See, that's why that fascist Russian property who's occupying the White House is all upset because patriotic football players are taking the knee. That's why. You know, that's why, because he wants a violent revolution. That's why I urge us, it's civil disobedience. This is a time, oh yeah, I'm gonna get you up to that. Actually, I was gonna start my show off with this one. We are, some guy named Joe Walsh, I haven't looked him up yet, but he says, this is a great quote, I wrote this years ago. When I take out these books, we got some good stuff going on. We are living on a dying planet. We're killing everything that's alive, and anyone who tries to deny it wears a tie and gets paid to lie. That's why I wear beads. I'm always wearing beads. You know, that's. I tried to tone it down here. Let it out. Be yourself to free yourself. Our Creator has given us 5 senses to help us survive threats from the external world, and a 6th sense to our healing system to help us survive internal threats. So use our psychic ability. Your body will tell you, don't do that. You know, do this. Addictions are really rough. You know, Carolyn Meese said once at a lecture when she was traveling all through Europe and her early career there, she had written a book. Nasty person, but I learned a lot from her. As you know, there's no love lost between me and Carolyn Meese. But as I said, none of my teachers, but we're not going to go there. My best teachers I didn't get along with. I don't think you could put 2 big cats in the same room. I think that's what it is. Nothing personal. But she said when she was doing these women's prisons with AIDS, people with AIDS, women with AIDS, she noticed they all smoked like chimneys. And then she would do these lectures, and then after the lecture was over, when she was getting ready to leave, some girls would come up, women would come up to her and say, well, I could have 1 or 2 cigarettes once or twice, right? And so she figured it out then that if you had the cure for AIDS in this hand or whatever, cancer, this or that, and a pack of cigarettes here, the addiction's always going to win out. The addiction's always going to win out. And personally, I believe from my own experience and by being a healer for over 40 years, we're addictive by nature. It's just part of the human condition. Pick healthy addictions. Like I'm addicted to getting up early in the morning with a healthy attitude and tending to my animals. I always have animals that need instant attention in the morning. You know, I love routines. I think the soul likes routines. Animals like routines. They're wise. We could learn a lot from animals. And okay, so we're going to get back to that. And then there's another one, another book here. Let's see what I have here. Okay, nature gives us everything for free. Nature doesn't charge us any money. All nature asks is that we protect it. And then I love this one. Once you learn how to be happy, you won't tolerate being around people who make you feel anything else. Yeah, don't rain on my parade. Yeah, and then one more thing about General Omar Bradley said, the world has achieved brilliance without conscience. Ours is a world of nuclear giants and ethical infants. We know more about war than we know about peace, more about killing than we know about living. If we continue to develop our technology without wisdom or prudence, our servant may prove to be our executioner. Not just pretty words, as Morticia Adams would say. To be yourself in a world, I say this practically every show because, you know, I was forced to survive. I had to pretend to be alive, you know, and that led me to be a heroin addict. I'm not 70, you know, I'll be 70 in less than 90 days there. But, you know, it reminds me today about, you know, Portugal legalized all drugs are decriminalized, and you see drug addiction as a mental health issue, a public health issue. You know, they're on the right track, baby. and also was Bernie Sanders. I've heard him say that in many of his lectures and his campaigns, stompers, you know, his stump talks. He would go, he was the only one talking about, like after 9/11, you think that would be like, let's not make people hate us as much. You know, do we ever think of that? I'm sure somebody, but they were accused of being probably a left-wing, tree-hugging hippie. I'm proud to be a tree-hugging hippie. Okay, so what did I write about this? The first half of August, astrology. Where's the map for astrology here? So melancholy. Look into melancholy. You know, neuroses. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here. I wrote this. I don't know, 5 or 7 years ago, 10 years ago, and it's worth sharing with y'all. I don't know if you could see that, but I'll read it to you. It says, "No money in a cure." Underlined. Keep them sick. Keep them trapped. Keep them paying. You know, if you think that they want a cure for cancer. I got a bridge in New York called the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, see, that's my Mercury in Scorpio. I'm always going to have that nasty part of me, you know. When I was a kid, I hated my adopted family, and they hated me, man. They tried to kill me. I got away when I was 17. I had a rich boyfriend who would take me to these exotic places, and I would write my siblings, my adopted these people who hated it. I would write them a card saying, "Having a wonderful time. The weather is here. Wish you were beautiful." Now, I'm not condoning that. That was nasty. But I'm just saying that's where I come from, you know. So that's when I was in the mud. But it's from being in the mud that I got to have my lotus blossom. Okay, Carl Jung said, this is so important, we got more time here. Until you make the the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Painful emotions burden us. They develop from experience with trauma, with loss, with rejection, with abandonment, with failure. When we don't heal ourselves of these emotional wounds, neurosis can develop. Jung said neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. We suffer for a good reason. Maybe physical or emotional harm happened to us, or our parents divorced, and then I wrote, or even worse, stayed together. I had to put my own little editorial in there. We failed, my adopted family, yeah, I was really close to my adopted mother who was murdered. And when the last time we were together, we went out for a long ride and had lunch, and she told me she knew she was going to die in a few months, and she said, I should have left him years ago. You were right, Frank. So many people have told me that just before they died. I should have listened to you, Frank. It brings no, comfort to me, but, I don't need to be validated that way. We failed at our business or our space or significant other rejected us. Yeah, we failed at our business or our spouse or significant other rejected us. As a result, we may be numb. We may numb or mask our emotional distress, addiction, denial, anger, closed heart, or some other form of self-harm, limiting our progress in life. To our emotional wounds, is one of life's most, to face our emotional wounds is one of life's most courageous acts. That's so profound. Our own, also our most important work, because it means living a more authentic life, a life rooted in our values, talents, and desires. Finding our truest selves means first becoming conscious of the beliefs we created out of what happened to us. It's not the event that causes our continual suffering, but rather the beliefs we created to cope and make sense out of the event where we suffer the most. We believe we are worthless, not good enough, damaged in some way, but it's simply not true. See, that's when you find your real self. When people say, well, why keep my real self when I die, Frank? No, your real self is before you're born, and then as soon as you're slapped on the butt, you start your karma starts unfailing, for whatever, nobody comes here karma-free, but some more intense than others, you know. Usually it's the wounded healers have the most intense. Those first 3 months, everybody in the field, and I myself am living proof of it, the first 3 years of any child's life, you're making or breaking that kid. So put down that stupid cellular device there that you're addicted to, and pay attention to that kid. Talk to them, you know. That's our, you know, that's gonna, like right now, a lot of these wounded people from the oh yeah, by the way, ICE, you know, Denise Dory will be here at 6 o'clock today. I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay, answer phone. Hello. Hi.
Hey man, so wanted to earn some good karma, help you out a little bit. It looks like you got some cum stuck in your beard. You might want to get that out.
Some inmate there, you know, that's hateful. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying, you know, I saw what's going on with people like that are living in Florida. They're going by the name of Q now. They're really twisted souls, so, well, I'm sorry if any children see, that's a very sick person. Wow. She must have had a bad, she didn't get the pony. She didn't get the pony. And now, okay, so astrology, okay, so what was I saying now? Yeah, so that's the whole thing about, so you gotta work on wellness. You gotta work on wellness. I was just thinking the other day, God, I hadn't gotten a crank call in a while. Well, that's a cry for help, you know, that's a cry for help. The president, oh yeah, Stephen King said the president is a hurtful, bullying, brutish, ridiculous, undignified, childish ass, and it hurts me to say that. Yeah, I don't like saying the truth about this, no, we're just going to ignore that. It'll go away. Yeah, I'll pray for you, sweetheart. In the meantime, go soak your head. Yeah, go soak your head, honey. Yeah, and make sure you pick a toilet that's used. See, and now I'm matching that energy. See, what I learned in the mystery school from one of my best teachers is that a psychic's job is not to match energy. People can bring you down to their level, but you can't bring them up to your level. So this is a great mystery school lesson that when sick people, you know, my goodness, what a sick person. Okay. So I was saying to myself, you know, I live in San Francisco because this is the only place where if I pressed it like real fast, I could keep her out of here. Okay, so we'll go like, yeah, so let's see what else we got here. Okay, so let's get the, so what I was saying about Carl Jung, you know, to face our now that's an emotionally wounded person there. See, finding our truest selves means first becoming conscious of the beliefs we created out of what happened to us. Yeah, she's probably a wounded child. You got to keep a sense of humor and have thick. Well, this is probably going to go on, I guess, for the next couple of minutes. Oh, please get a life, honey. Yeah. I like what Carl Jung says here. Freud said, not everybody, even a broken clock is worth, even a broken clock is worth, even a broken clock is worth twice a day. Even a broken clock is even a broken clock is right twice a day. And Sigmund Freud said, the mind is an iceberg. It floats with only 1/7 of its bulk above water. It does not, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The subconscious is where our experiences, beliefs, and memories are stored. Self-knowledge, the understanding of our thoughts and behaviors and their influence on our lives will make the unconscious conscious. This rise and change in thought and behavior prevents our false beliefs, negative emotions, and self-defeating behaviors from directing our fate. Our fate is now determined by our knowing ourselves enough to take effective action in our daily lives. And then this is a good one. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Well, that's good stuff there. So face your subconscious. Otherwise, you go like Donald Trump and this maniac woman with a chip on her shoulder. Yeah, symptoms of neurosis. Now, that's a neurotic woman. Anxiety, sadness, depression, anger, irritability. You know, people, I think some of the best readings I've ever gotten or gave, people leave kind of upset. You know, if you're getting a good reading, I mean, I remember this Chinese doctor, oh, no, honey, we're not going there. Well, they say anything you do with a Mercury retrograde, you're going to have to redo, you know. You know, the other day I was at a Democratic thing for David Campos, who I adore, and I was meeting Denise Dory there, and I was walking down to say hello to some friends I hadn't seen in a while, and this guy who obviously saw my show, big, hairy, white beard, younger than me, but, you know, looked older, and he said to me, you really got, I watched your show, he said, you got a lot of opinions, you got a lot of strong opinions. And I said, well, what do you think? I said, well, you say it like it's a bad thing. Yeah, I'm having a lot of workout today. This is kind of fun. I get to stretch. See, whatever things happen beyond your control, they say acceptance is the answer to all our problems. Does anybody want to hear? No, I don't want to listen to her because there's kids watching this, and I don't want earworms. So that's what Fox News does. I bet anything this person's into. See, non-cooperation with evil is as much a duty as cooperation with good. So I'm really grateful that this happened because it reminded me how much I've grown. Well, thank you. Yes, I know you're special, sweetheart. I'm sorry I said you should soak your head in the toilet. That was the little child in me. Oh, yeah, Donald Trump wants us to have... Donald Trump wants us to have papers...
Hey, what are you talking shit about Fox News for? Don't talk shit.
You little Gestapo fascist. You know, wow, she's rough. She probably sick. Take your medicine, honey. You need help. You're sick. Yeah, Fox News is sick. Yeah, your papers, please. You know, they want you. It's like the Firesign Theater. Your papers, please. This doesn't look like you. Get in the truck. See, it's people like that now who are totally victims of the Trump and the Fox brainwashing. She's got a head full of earworms. And it turns into, like, I don't know, some kind of disease in your brain, worse than venereal disease. And every time you open your mouth, this stuff comes out, like the stuff she said to me. You know, as I started off with, Dr. Donald Trump, my people, my gay, LGBT people are being shot, are being killed. Heather Heyer was mowed down, and she was a fag hag, I guess. She had a lot of gay friends, and she said, get involved. If you're not involved, and as I said the other day, this is happening to remind me, there's this new thing going on with Q, who really believe there's a deep state going on, and that Donald Trump is, everything Donald Trump says is correct, and everything, this sick, twisted woman, this syphilitic brain of a woman, she's, I don't know what their thing is. Yeah, Fox News is horrible, and I'm saying it while I can, and getting, if anybody's watching this, because I'm going to put this on YouTube because she sexually harassed me. She's a really twisted person. Yeah, mention. I wrote a note here before I left the house that said, "Mention the Lunatic Fringe." And I said, I am well aware that in San Francisco, California, I said, is the only place where this act of mine could fly. I thought before I left the house today that I was safe from this stuff, and get help. I thought I was safe in San Francisco, and I guess I still am, and I'll pray for this woman. I really will. I'll light a candle for you, honey. Yeah, so it says we've got people like treasonous scum, like that he gained a ton of weight too. Hannity there, and not only that, but all these children that are emotionally damaged now. And how many of them are going to not grow up to be terrorists or violent or join a gang or not get the emotional help they need? So as I said. It's coming to the end now. Before I was so rudely. I hope she's not in her car on her way. Oh, thank God she's still here. I was hoping she wasn't taking a cab downstairs. No, darling. Yeah, I want to tell people beware of complacency. That's another one. This is why. Beware of complacency. Get help. So you got to make a game out of life. You got to make a life. Yeah, the Russian see us as a cheap date. Yeah, that's another good one. And then when Trump was running around in that stinky in Helsinki, I just, and all kidding aside now, this was kind of an exercise in a lot of things. But in all kidding aside now, I guess like Emerson said, when people die, their experience dies with them. My whole generation, Vietnam, sexual equality, Fox News, and this product of Fox News, this twisted, sick person needs help, and so I don't know, prayer, miracles, educate, talk to people. But, you can't talk to people who are brainwashed, So I don't know how we're going to get through this, but I believe it's going to work out all right. I think it's funny how I made notes today that, when we project our shadow onto others, see, that's what this person's trying to do now. She's trying to project her shadow. She's trying to make me a shadow so she could hang her hook on it. And I'm not going to do it, See, what she's trying to do now, it says, when we project our shadow onto others, we refuse ownership of ourselves, distancing ourselves from ourselves, losing ourselves in the process. This is a lost, sad soul. According to Jung, is how neurosis finds its way to take on the psyche. See, if her neuroses haven't been dealt with, this is a process, and now she's on the verge of probably psychotic behavior, this whole, last night I was very amazed. I was watching CNN or something, and they had this convention in Florida or Ohio, and there's like a whole lot of people like this person who actually think there's a deep state, and you can't talk to these people. You might as well just talk to these bells, because the lights are on, but nobody's home. The lights are on, but nobody's home. And it says, listen to this. And according to Jung, is how neurosis finds its way to take over the psyche, and acts of violence, others which are always characteristic of people who project the devil in themselves upon the outside, upon somebody else, upon the scapegoat. So don't be a scapegoat for anything like this. This twisted, sick woman. Thank you, honey. Yes, you're special. Do you hear me, honey? You are special, and you need help. Run to a clinic. run to a clinic, and actually the Cristo Rey Chapel over across from St. Ignatius, they work miracles. Light a candle and ask them for help. I believe in miracles, and I believe you're crying for help. You're crying for help. Bertrand Russell said, fear is the main source of superstition and one of the main sources of cruelty to She's probably afraid. And let me see what else I wrote about. Oh my goodness, sweetheart. Okay, let's see what we got here. Anything else? Oh, yeah, so let's see where Donald Trump, I got his birth chart right here. So that's one thing about being born in the city, you know, and living in New York and San Francisco downtown. I mean, I could just tune things out. It's just like, you know, it's the nature of the city. This is the nature of what I do, you know. It's no news to me. You got to get up pretty early in the morning. Oh, yeah, so, oh, come on, honey. I want to definitely give this, tell my viewers who are, they're getting an education, but I want to tell them how this is affecting that madman Donald Trump. So let's see the Mountain Astrologer. Oh, what do we have here? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I go with something good. Stop referring to folks who work at cannabis dispensaries. There's so many young, talented people who work at these cannabis dispensaries, and when you talk to them, they'll tell you what I see it happening all the time. And I think they should be called.
You have no.
And I think they should be called herbalists instead of bud tenders, or florists for selling flowers. Well, she's a persistent soul. I think gotta hand it to. Well, she's probably in love with me. You know, she probably realized she will never possess me. You will never have me, darling. You will never have me. Get over it. What, did you have a gay boyfriend once, and he lied to you or something? Don't make me a hook for that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be your scapegoat, honey. I'm not going to be your scapegoat. Oh, sweetheart. Call the ambulance. Wow, wow, wow. So don't forget, Denise Dory's here. She'll be here at 6 o'clock. You know, I was just thinking today about how... What, darling? Okay, let me do this real fast.
Oh my, it's a Nick.
Yeah, that's some kind of a really twisted sister, I'll tell you. Okay, so Donald Trump's chart. Let me look for the Mountain Astrologer here for... Well, there's nothing to apologize about. This is life. This is live TV. This is... And I actually think it's kind of humorous. It's sad. Well, see, that's what I was saying earlier. Finding a joy in life doesn't mean you walk around every day like a juggler in a cow, but you just have this underlying knowing that everything happens for a reason. There's a lesson in everything, and your job is to not get emotionally involved. This was a great test, you know, to remind myself that I've come a long way, you know, I've come a long way. And as I said, I saw just before I left the house today about what's going on with this new movement about these young people who actually want, like, gas stations blown up. I mean, they want a total civil war. This is all because we have a man in the White House who is inciting violence. The only reason the economy's up, and as one businessman said, if he presses the mute button and he sees Donald Trump, he likes what he sees. Yeah, because they're making money hand over fist because they've dropped all of the EPA standards now. They could rape Mother Nature, they could put mercury in our streams, kill the fish, mine pristine parks in Alaska. So these guys now, they don't care. I don't know where they're going to spend this money, on Mars, which they found a lake, by the way. I don't know. All I know is I'm not going to waste my energy allowance. I'm just going to take care of what's in front of me. So all this Aquarius, Leo energy, the Leo new moon, the last of the 3 eclipses. The first was the beginning of July, then the end of July, and now the final. And then no more eclipses for the rest of the year. So this is a lot of completion going on. And for the United States of America is in a 22-4 year. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Next month is going to be a 4-month. This is an information month. So let's see, we're on Donald Trump, 18 degrees Leo. Oh yes, I was telling you before I got rudely interrupted by that call. I was at the DNC meeting and I was going down this skinny little between the folded chairs, and this guy was like, I guess, goofing on me or something. And he said, yeah, I watch your show. You got some strong opinions, and and he was like, I thought, oh, here it comes. And he said, and I looked at him and I said, you say it like it's a bad thing. I said, you should have, if you're watching, you probably do too. And then he laughed. A lot of times I'll get that on Market Street. People will come up to me and tell me, no, you know what I don't like about your show? And I said, what? I'm always prepared for something. And knock wood, as I said, in 9 years, I haven't got any kind of crank calls like that from sick people in a long time. So it was interesting because as I was thinking over here, I was watching what's going on with this Cube place, this rally in Florida, and they just are all about destroying things. So 18 degrees Leo, 18, 26, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's a 9-degree orb from his Mars. So this is all between his Venus and his Mars in the 12th house. So what's happening with Donald Trump is all the stuff he has swept under the carpet, all the bodies under the carpet buried, are all going to be exposed now. Remember, with Mercury and all these planets retrograde, all the re-words, revisit, rethink, reclaim. This was actually a lot of fun today. I thought things were going, curiously a little weird. No, we embrace the mystery. Our Creator has given us 5 senses, 6 senses actually. Use your 6th sense now. Everybody is having these contemporary mystical experiences that you can't tell your best friend about. It's like reheating the most delicious coffee you ever had in your life. Prayers are to assure your connection with home. Much as when you were children and you left for the day, there was that moment when panic set in, and you sure to remember it. You had to call home just to see if it was still there. Prayers like that. It's a calling home, just to remind yourself, yes, I'm still connected to Mother, Father, God, one mind. Every bit of you is worth loving. Namaste. I'll be here in next week, 2 weeks. Here's August 17th. So remember, the 11th is the solar eclipse new moon. Check into our hearts. And I was going to talk about the healing heart, but we'll do that again next week. Bye.